Hey guys, it's Cory from CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, and I just saw Creed 2, written by Cheo, Hodari, Ryan Coogler, Sascha Penn, Sylvester Stallone, and Juel Taylor, directed by Stephen Caple Jr. So first things first, I saw this movie at the Glendale 18 at the Americana. Uh, I've seen a couple flicks there before. It's one of the leaders on the leaderboard list, other than Regal LA Live, obviously. But I don't really want to talk too much about the actual theater experience as much as I want to talk about just how done I am with Movie Pass at this point. Uh, in the new year, I imagine I'm going to look into another option for how I'm going to see the movies, either through the AMC A-list or through Cinemia or something like that, because Movie Pass is just not worth it. I want to go see a movie on a Tuesday, which is usually a low volume night for movies, where Movie Pass should be the most popular. Like when they should be wanting to like get people out into the theaters, and it's just there was nothing for Creed 2, nothing for anything. Uh, it's just a fruitless exercise. I've already been charged for this month, so I'm gonna take it home with me and maybe see some movies at home on some theaters back in Baltimore, of which I will gladly tell you all about. But in the meantime, I'm taking this opportunity to not necessarily talk about the Glendale 18, but say that Movie Pass is 100% done. There's no point. There's no point in signing up for it. I don't give a shit what their new thing is, what their new plan. It's just not worth it. Onto the flick. Uh, this movie is not only a direct sequel to Creed, but sort of a spiritual successor to Rocky 3, when we had the initial uh, fight between Rocky and Drago, and when Apollo Creed had died in the ring. And so much of this movie is just sort of the interconnection between all these things. But what I will say that is beneficial to this is that I think that I having seen pretty much every Rocky movie, I can say that there's things in here that are good for both the people who have never seen a Rocky movie and the people who have seen all of them. There are a ton of little like Easter eggs and little moments that connect to the people who are well versed in the universe, and then there's also a lot of things that I mean the Rocky story, the formula of how they make Rocky movies and now Creed movies is pretty simple. So I mean it's the type of thing that anyone can just sort of pick up and get into. You don't have to be a scholar on Rocky to get it. And they do enough exposition throughout the movie so that even if you hadn't seen Rocky 3, even if you didn't know who Drago was, even if you didn't know who Apollo Creed was, then you're getting caught up on it pretty quick and you get the idea. But I mean, like the best case version of this movie is that you're well versed in Rocky and that you know who all these people are and know why it's important. All in all, I thought this flick was really good. I mean, I know the problem is that with any Rocky movie, the second you step into the theater, you have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen almost immediately without anyone having to tell you. It's very formulaic. It's very easy. It just sets itself up for these dramatic points where you get uh, Adonis Creed going up against Rocky, and they have their breakup, and they get back together, and blah blah blah. But I mean, there was only one thing in the movie that I didn't see coming, but it's not because I couldn't have predicted that it would come. I just imagined that the hook would be something different. Uh, but that being said, I thought the acting was very good, even for Sly, who can be kind of hit or miss. Uh, but usually in Rocky movies, he brings it pretty well. Tessa Thompson did a wonderful job. Michael B. Jordan is one of our preeminent movie stars at this point, and it's not just because he is a winning personality and a good looking guy and stuff like that, but he's really one of the most fine actors that we have in the world right now, and he does a tremendous job in Creed because not only is the acting there, but he's able to get into the physicality of being a boxer so well, and it's so believable. And uh, he also is able. I mean, the benefit of a movie like Creed. I was saying this to Rob after we had left the movie. The With most sports, it's better to be there. It's better to be at the game or watching it on TV, because the way that they set it up to watch it is the the best version of the experience. Obviously, if you're at a state, like watching football at the stadium, like you get the crowd and you get the experience of it. Watching it on TV, you get the perfect angle, like the midline angle, with just enough height and tilt so that you can see what all the players are doing. Boxing is not a sport that is very good to watch live. Even if you're sitting close to the ring, there's still a lot of things that you miss. And the best version of watching boxing is watching like a highlight reel after the fact, where all the best angles and all the best shots are put together so that you can see what you missed. Like, because if you're sitting, if everyone's back is to you in the ring and you're 40 rows back, you're not going to be able to see that punch actually landed right on the chin. You thought maybe he hit him in the chest or something. Creed is a wonderful opportunity for boxing to look great. And boxing really doesn't have the opportunity to look great that much anymore. So it's a lot of fun to experience boxing in a fun way like this again. This movie is really difficult to put between like a Fast and the Furious type rule, because it treats itself like a very serious work while also being aware of itself, while also like not selling out for the purposes of some big action scene because we need it. It's just it's very straightforward and plays itself forward. I don't imagine that if I were to do like a Fast and the Furious rating on it, it would really change that much from its overall rating. But it's just something worth note. Creed 2 to me is sort of like on that line between whether or not something is eligible for the Fast and the Furious rule. So therefore, I will say no. Couple just really quick qualms with it. I really enjoyed the Dragos, both Ivan and Victor, but something that had happened before in Rocky 3, where Drago first came up, is just that he's sort of the silent destroyer. So he just comes in, he's just been destroying people, and then he comes to meet Rocky, and you see the size advantage that Drago has. But there's not a moment where Drago really has where he's just like, where he has the soliloquy to camera or something like that, or anything really breaking down the character of who Drago is, other than just this really big guy who punches really hard. And the same sort of thing happens with Victor Drago. Like, they don't, at no point do we really get the moment where, Victor is talking about, like, whether or not he actually wants to follow in his father's footsteps and be the boxer that Ivan couldn't be. But I mean, I don't know if they just said that Florian Munteanu couldn't handle that, and maybe that was just a choice. Like, maybe there were tons of scenes with him on the cutting room floor that just didn't feel like they fit right, and that would make sense with the level of talent that we have going on throughout the rest of the picture. Somebody who isn't a incredible actor would look outpace, I think, a lot in that regard. But the other side is just like there's just a little bit too much of it. So I mean, we all love and when Drago looks down on Rocky and it's like, I will break you in the Rocky 3, but like in this flick, like it's just like I break him keeps getting brought up over and over and over again. And like the first time I heard it, I'm like, yeah, break him, Drago. But then the fourth or fifth time you hear it, you're just like, all right, I'm done with this. I don't need any more of this line. It was good the first time. it was good the first time it came up in this picture, but then as it continued going along, like it just felt more like Hulk Hogan hulking up. Like it's just the moment that you had to break. And I mean, that's more of a Rocky / Creed side of the equation where he's getting beat so bad, and then all of a sudden he just realizes that he's invincible, and then the rest of the fight is over. One other thing, I think Stephen Caple Jr. did a tremendous job. I thought the movie was well lit, the cinematography was great, the sound was great. All the pieces fit in just the way you would hope them to. I do feel that at some point along the way, there was a line, or he was being told that you're going to have to do this a little bit more like Ryan Coogler would have done. Like we're looking for someone to. We can't get Coogler, but we're gonna get somebody who does all the things that Coogler does. And I can't say for sure if that's the fact, but there were a lot of Cooglerisms in this one, and I would have liked to see them take the reins off him a little bit, because he clearly has the goods to get the best out of talented people. And I would have liked to see not the training wheels, but like the stick to what brought you to the dance sort of feeling. Like let him explore it a little bit. Let him do his own thing. Are you ready for the leaderboard? It's leaderboard time. Once again, saw this flick at the Glendale 18, a wonderful theater, a great place to go see something. Moving on to the movie leaderboard. I mean, it's not that I think that Creed or Creed 2 is better or worse than the other one. They're both sort of similar in the same sort of way. But I mean, I think that Creed 2 feels more like Creed 1. The difference mostly is that the first Creed felt so much like a revelation, and like we're going to take this format and we're going to do it in a new way. We're going to introduce you to a new guy. And we're gonna build this universe. So there was a lot that went into it that that doesn't need to go into the sequel, because we already got that part. But I think that was part of the joy in the first Creed a little bit that gets missed a little bit in Creed 2. Like it just feels like it's just being another Rocky movie, which is fine. I'm never going to turn down a Rocky movie, but it just felt a little. It was a step below. So if I have to give Creed 2 a rating, I will give it a 7.8. A really enjoyable time in the theater. This is not Shakespeare. Never was claiming to be Shakespeare. But a beautiful film that, for the most part, is very well acted and very well directed. But that's it for me. If you want more, you can go to my website, CoryBakerFilmmaker.com, Facebook.com/CoryBakerFilm, or at LegendsCB5 on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. Really want to see a couple more movies to finish off this year strong. I think next week on the review, I will be doing Roma. I'll either go out to the theater or catch it here at the house. But really looking forward to that one. Looking forward to telling you all about it. If there's any other movies you want me to catch before the end of the year, just send me a message on social media somehow. Just let me know what you think. I'd love to go check out some more flicks, especially back home. I think that you guys are really going to enjoy some of the theaters back in Baltimore that I go to, if you haven't seen any of them before. So Senator and Parkway are definitely on the list. Maybe even the Cinemark in Towson. But we'll see what's up. Anywho, that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And is that the bell? I didn't hear no bell.